Oh, a grappling hook! Let's see you get up the wall! G'day ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to my third and final E3 video. I know that many of you are waiting for me to hurry the fuck up and get on with Hitman, and I can assure you that following this video I'll be doing exactly that. But for today, I wanted to talk about For Honor. For Honor is an upcoming hack and slash game in development by Ubisoft Montreal and set to be released for PC, PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. It's set in the medieval period and revolves around a fictional war between three different factions. Simply put, it's knights versus samurais versus Vikings, who are known in the game as the Legion, the Chosen and the Warborn respectively. Now I don't know about you guys, but that sounds like a pretty fucking interesting concept to me, and as a reasonably big fan of hack and slash games, For Honor was the game I was most looking forward to seeing at this year's E3. At the Ubisoft press conference, we were shown a gameplay demo of a level in which we followed the Warborn as they launched an assault on a heavily defended samurai fortress. Shortly after the press conference, I was able to get some hands-on time with the game and play the demo for myself on PS4. So does it play as good as it looks? Let's take a look. Right off the bat, the game looks and sounds pretty good. Although pretty much all of the smaller enemies look the same, the larger enemies and player avatar are all very well detailed. The animations are smooth and fluent, and the great environmental detail and weather effects set an appropriate atmosphere for a bloody battle. Sound effects have also been well used across the board and help further immerse you into the action. Now, For Honor isn't one of those typical hack and slash games in which you can seamlessly string together epic combos by simply spamming a few different buttons. Instead, it introduces a new tactical combat system known as the Art of Battle. When using L2 to lock onto an enemy, you enter a dueling view, which is basically a sort of 1v1 view with that enemy. Here you can choose how to place and position your weapon in a manner to attack and defend against enemies. You can choose to attack or defend from above, from the left, or from the right. In order to successfully block an incoming attack, you need to match your weapon's position to the direction of the incoming strike. And in order to deliver a successful blow to an enemy, you must come at them from a direction other than the position they are holding their weapon. You know, like their weak spot. It sounds simple in theory, but it took a lot of getting used to, and I have to admit that I died a few more times than expected while I was still trying to get the hang of it all. I should mention that there are some enemies in the game where utilising the game's combat system isn't required. For example, the smaller, weaker grunts you encounter can be slaughtered in droves by simply swinging your battle axe in their direction. These guys are so easy to kill that some of them didn't even bother trying to attack me, and just stood around cheering me on as I slaughtered each and every one of them. Fuck yeah, bro! Fighting the larger, stronger, and far more skilled enemies, however, was a completely different story. Larger enemy AI is very competent and are able to block your attacks, counter with attacks of their own, break your defenses, and do some serious damage. Dealing with these guys does require you to learn and master the game's Art of Battle combat system. Enemy attacks can be unpredictable, and they can strike at you from multiple directions in a single combo, meaning that you need to constantly observe their movements and be prepared to change your stance at a second's notice to avoid taking damage. Each duel can last anywhere from a few seconds to a couple of minutes, and requires a degree of strategy to successfully overcome. This is a level of depth that you don't often see in the combat system of a hack and slash game, and because of it, you're fully immersed in every duel you take part in, and winning duels feel all the more satisfying. You could also press the square button to bash into your enemy and temporarily break their defenses for a follow-up attack, and pressing it twice would have you charge, pick up and throw the bastards. This ability can also be used in other situations as well, which I'll get to once we've climbed this wall.
Ropes! Grapples, here!
Right away, Mr. Viking, sir! By the way, I
Go! Lead the climb!
Let's go!
In order to reach the top of the wall, all we needed to do was climb up the rope and dodge the bricks that the samurai threw down at us. Seemed easy enough. Oh, a grappling hook! Let's see you get up the one! This is probably a good time to mention that you could find and assign power-ups to either left or right on the D-pad. This one, called Fury, would raise our speed, attack and defense stats for a brief duration. Cool! But in order to pick up these power-ups, you needed to hold down whichever direction you wanted to assign them to for, I don't know, a second or so. Because the D-pad is on the left side of the controller, you naturally have to use your left thumb to do this. So for me, it felt awkward, and having to stand completely still for a second just to pick up a power-up was fucking annoying. Clearly it's not as big of a deal in situations like this where there's no one around. In situations like this, however, it makes things pretty fucking hectic. Stop him! He's going for the— Get the fuck out of my way! Anyway, building further upon the bash attack, you can also use it to perform environmentally sensitive melee attacks, or make an otherwise difficult fight easy by throwing your opponent into a couple of different environmental death traps. It's nothing new, but I've always liked the idea, so I'm interested to see what else they do with this. Oh yeah, I haven't talked about the executions yet. As you've just witnessed, they're as satisfyingly brutal as you could expect. They also give you some health back, so they serve a purpose other than just being fun as hell. Just don't take too long to decide which one you want to use though, or you'll miss your opportunity. The downside for me regarding the executions was that there was only 2 to choose from, and they begin to lose their impact when you only have 2 different variations. So I hope that they throw in a few more before release. You know, to keep my inner psychopath happy. Once we've opened the gate and fought through some more samurai warriors, the final stage of the demo is a boss fight with the samurai commando Saburo. He's obviously supposed to be significant, but he's basically just a stronger version of the enemies we've already encountered throughout the level. Sure, he's got more health and a few extra abilities, but other than that, there isn't a whole lot different. So although it was an enjoyable fight to the death, I wouldn't say it was a standout of the demo.
Finish him!
Well, that was an anticlimax. I suppose that's what you call a random acts of kindness. And yes, both of those puns were definitely intended. Overall, although challenging at first, I think there's a lot to like about For Honor. The new combat system makes you really feel in control of the weapon in your hand, and although I didn't come close to mastering it in the half an hour I spent playing the game, I can imagine that it would be extremely satisfying to master the basics and become an absolute death machine on the battlefield. Naturally, apart from the tutorial, we only really got to see one level of the game, and after playing a mission as a Viking, I'm very curious to find out how the Knights and Samurai play in comparison. All in all, what we've seen from For Honor so far looks promising, and I'm very keen to check out the final product when it releases next year. That, ladies and gentlemen, brings us to the end of today's video, as well as my coverage of the games I got to spend some time with at this year's E3. I hope that you guys enjoyed the content, even if it was a little different to what you'd normally expect to see on this channel. Now, as promised, I'm going to be getting right back into Hitman. So as always, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.